and say, God will protect us.
It was really said by God's Major General, Apostle Walter S. Mante, indicating that one of Ghana's dancehall artists will be involved in an accident. As we speak, Ebony is dead, and it attests to the fact that indeed prophecy has efficacy. The man said it on the 1st night 2017, and as we speak, Ebony is no more. First Major General Apostle Walter Mante has raised over 70 prophets and 60 apostles, and he's done ministry work for over 30 years. So his credentials are enormous. The life he's time through ministry, mind cannot comprehend. So we're not talking about any other person, but we're talking about a man with integrity, a man who loves God, a man who had really used the message to inspire life, to motivate for the greater benefit of the church and the nation at large. So without much ado, I'll go straight to the Apostle General. Apostle, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I like your outfit.
Thank you very much.
Why is it over a shirt?
You're also looking very good.
That's awesome. Now, talking about prophecies and the aspect of it coming to the materialization or otherwise, a school of thought believes that more often than not, we speak of the fact that an evil will befall a specific group of individuals, being it stars, being it religious leaders, being it traditional leaders, and Christians for that matter take it lightly. And at the end of the day, it happens. When it happens, they come back to prophet, they come back to apostles like yourself. You get that apostle, you said it all. It happened. You know, point of view, what could really trigger this? And even when you get the vision to read prophesies, what are some of the things you see before saying such things?
Well, what actually happened was that I, normally before the 31st, I'll go and wait upon the Lord. The Bible says that Isaiah 40:30, 31, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They'll mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not faint, walk and not be weary. Amen. So what I do is normally getting to the end of the year, I spend quality time with the Lord. I spend long hours before the Lord. What I would normally do is write the things that the following year will, bring to bear on us. One of the messages I caught was one dancehall artist will be involved in an accident. And for the many years that I've done ministry, I am very careful with presenting names and things like that. Someone will present it differently, but I would say this and spend some time to pray, because then can create fear and panic. Sure. But as a matter of fact, we just say everything to create fear and panic. Unfortunately, we didn't deal with the issue, and then it has happened. That's very painful. I'm not excited that it happened, but unfortunately that happened. So what motivated me to do is because I heard from the Lord. The Lord spoke to me that this was what God. I know specifically who it was, but then in presenting my prophecy, I want to be careful I don't create fear and panic. I could have spoken to her directly, but the problem there again is that it's not easy to access people like that. You try to, it's difficult.
Please let me check in this. More often than not, we hear of Christians who indicate that, okay, God refers to redeem. They have that caption. They keep saying it each and every now and then. In your perspective, do you think when like God reveals, He redeems, so the person has a role to play, that such a calamity wouldn't before him?
The greatest deception is the overuse of that phrase. Actually, but you see, when God reveals, it means that He gives you an opportunity to do something about it. If you don't know about it, then you won't pray about it. But if you know, you pray about it. I'll give you an example in the Bible, Isaiah 38. An account was given of, Ezekiel at that time, who Prophet Isaiah came to tell him that he was going to die. And so, as soon as Isaiah left the house and was going, Ezekiel turned his face to the wall, began to pray, said, God, I have worked for you, I've loved you, I've done your will, I can die. He didn't leave the house, and then God spoke to him, go tell him back, I'm adding 15 more years. So the revelation brought prayer, which brought salvation.
Right.
You see the principles.
And looking at the likes of King Hezekiah, you are indicating, King Hezekiah had a covenant with God, basically in the sense that he made specific reference to the fact that he's done this and that.
Absolutely.
Yes. In your perspective, if a Christian has no covenant with God, should that come now? What are some of the things the person could point that? Yeah,
the authority of the man of God, has a lot to play. So if there's a revelation, you can actually cancel the death from the person. It happens often. People have revelations that they are dead. People die all the time. We have a lot of walking dead people, trust me. I mean, and one of the schools of thought I have known is that people walk around dead, and most of the time when they come to us, we pray for them with counsel. If you joke, it will happen. So it's a normal thing. It's not something that happens. It's something that you joke around. I have prophetic acts that I employ into sometimes to be able to save the lives of people. Often, more often than not, it happens. People have a lot of work in there. People call people spirit, and most of the time in the spiritual realm, they call the people spirit and bury them. So between the time, there's a space between the spiritual and the natural. So somebody can be walking a dead person.
And apart from the Ebony'S issue, what other prophecies were made known to the congregation to the person?
Although I don't really, it's under the anointing, you don't mean it was fresh because I account for the waiting. But then normally what I'll do is I'll make sure that they record it. Okay. And so this one of my sons hinted that it was part of the prophecy. But what I recall is that I said that a number of MPs were going to die. Wow. And I got the number straight. I don't remember, but maybe I said 3 or something. But I need to check from the records. But from what I know, there are speculations that one person has passed on. Is it one MP has passed on?
It's more than speculation.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's what happens. I do that every year. I've done this for quite many years now. For about 20 years now. Every 31st I give prophecies. So you almost will get a 98% recovery. There are reasons why sometimes a 2% happens. For instance, I'll give you an example of the president's issue. I did say indeed that we need to pray for the president because there is a curse that Ghana has not been able to deal with. The demands of the former president, Jonathan. I said that he did elections for 3 times. He won on the 3rd time. Another won the 3rd time. His vice president is from the north, not Musa, but from the north. And Atama's vice from the north. And I also did say that there's something that is going to happen in the spirit, that the president will be poisoned. But the same way Atama's was poisoned, because the cycle has not been broken. It's a spiritual cycle. We don't understand spiritual cycles. And so when it happens, nobody has dealt with it. But then along the line, it had happened to somebody else. Speculatively, it happened to, there's a shift. And because of the shift, I understand spiritual things. It won't happen to the president again.
Wow. I wanted to chip in the aspect of the president having to do something in that vein. Probably in the sense that if he's likely to be poisoned, what are some of the steps we can probably take?
The thing is this, when the prophecy comes, people pray. I'm not sure I was the only person who saw it, but a lot of it. So in averting the prophecy, there can be a lot of things that can happen to avert it. I'm just being,
so please,
careful. So you see, what actually has happened is that it happened to the vice president.
Okay.
You understand? To turn the speculations. If that indeed happened, I need to be able to choose my words. If that indeed happened, it means that it was cancelled. But I'm very grateful to God that the vice president is alive, everything is well. So that's not going to happen.
In the spiritual realm, what should Namaka for His Excellency? And that
we should continue to pray to prevent it, and that's the curse will be broken. So what was going to happen, actually, which is cancelled by what happened to the vice president.
So Ghanaians are rest assured that
it's not going to happen, it's cancelled.
Wow, wow.
But I was 200% sure that if you don't pray, it was going to happen.
Wow. It means prayer is the key in everything.
It's the key.
Now let's look at this.
But we are vetted by prayer. I belong to a group of people that pray for the president. Okay. And so some of these things we talk amongst ourselves and we are vetted. But the force that was so strong that it almost happened to the vice president.
Wow.
It's so powerful.
So was it that the vice president was poisoned?
I don't want to go into that. That would be
for the purpose of viewing pleasure. Someone is watching the person.
I can't do that. I mean, I just feel it's gone. I just feel that it's not going to happen.
It's gone. So
the vice president is safe. We are very thankful to God. You see, the cycle of losing either a president or vice will not happen. Okay. It becomes a curse. So I'm happy it's not going to happen. Mark our words. It will happen.
That's why the fact that he was being poisoned.
No, it will happen again. Okay. It's been averted. I don't know how to explain it.
But in your perspective, he was poisoned, but it won't happen again, or it was something else?
I'm saying that the president was going to be poisoned,
okay,
but it's not going to happen again.
But you took the turn of the vice. It didn't hit the president, but that of
yeah, kind of.
okay. I wanted you to kind of hit that one right on the nail.
But I'm just being careful
I understand.
my words, because I mean
understand.
they can raise a lot of.
Sure. I understand. Now talking about prophecies and prophets and apostles, the school of thought believes that prophets and apostles in Ghana are more or less prophets and apostles of Jew. In what perspective do you think they will say no? And what are some of the things you encounter anytime you will throw something that goes to probably indicate that a president, an MP, or a highly certain people will probably die?
Well, I mean, it's better to know the negative and pray and avert it. Why do you have to stay and something happens to you? That's the most dangerous thing to happen. So for me, I want to see all the negative things about me, and I can cancel it like Ezekiel canceled it. He would have died, I mean, if he had not prayed about it. The next moment he was gone. But because he had a revelation, he prayed about it, and it was cancelled. You know, and it's a good model to know that this is going to happen too, so you can cancel it.
Again.
So things change in the spirit. In fact, I'll give you one more example. In Deuteronomy 9:25, God spoke to Moses and told him that he was going to destroy the whole of Israel. Because he was gotten tired with them. He spoke to Moses. This was God's word. Amen. Yeah. I'm going to terminate everybody. Nobody will stay. Amen. And Moses went on prostrate for 40 days and 40 nights and prayed, and God changed his mind.
Someone who's also at least watching the person is also worried and sad because he doesn't know if he or she will be the next victim of that. Now, if I'm a priest, should we expect more of that in now with those in music, those in movies and all of that?
You see, we are specifically talking about Ebony because he's a star, so to speak. But in the natural, there's a mortality rate that will occur. I mean, I'm because of my educational background, I look at it from also apart from the spiritual, the scientific, the normal life point of view. So people die. The only reason why we knew about Ebony because it was a star. Okay. So naturally, you're going to expect that. But where there's a spiritual connotation to it, we deal with it. So whatever prophecy I gave was because there's a spiritual connotation, and it was going to affect positively or negatively. That's why I mentioned it. But for people going to die, we're going to have it, and we're going to have MPs also die. And I did say in my prophecy that 3 MPs. Wow. If I don't know, I'll confirm. But I remember I said about 3 MPs. And I said one that's all atheists who not that they didn't know the name, but because of prophetic presentation.
And that's what I've even lambasting. When you say it,
when you say people, lambast you. I'm not afraid of a lambasting. Okay. I mean, I'm doing God's work. If you cut off my head, I'm preaching Jesus. That thing can stop me. I've left all the things I'm doing. I've left my career. You know, I've left my career. I've widely read, widely schooled. Let everything come in. So if you cut off my head, I'm preaching.
Apostle,
if you take a crown of mine, I'll preach.
What will you admonition to Ghanaians watching you from home and abroad? Because we live in a state whereby we don't regard men. And I think to understand.
I like your question. We don't regard men of God, but I don't need approval from men, and I don't think that men of God should seek approval from men. If you seek approval from God, if God regards you, but men regards you, but God doesn't regard you, what happens? The over approval of men of God brings too much pride. I think that one of the reasons why people are also dying, I want to be very sincere, as pastors, we need to do our work. You see, there's too much over preaching. I'm sorry, I'm giving you an Agamani's answer. There's too much over preaching of prosperity. Okay. I'll blame it on that. And we don't have the understanding of the revelation of the word of God is not there. And so people are not holy. And the wages of sin is death. Wow. The reason why people are dying is because of sin.
Can nudity also be viewed in that line?
Nudity?
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, if people are nude and it enticing, you see her, the person coming is naked, is half naked, and as a man. Most if you last after a woman, you have already committed adultery. So, guess in one stage, how many people can commit adultery at once? Because you see, when I watched carefully, I realized that in her innocence, like I'm talking about Ebony, in her innocence, she felt that whatever she had was the grace of God has given to her. We as pastors must be blessed. We don't teach them well. We think that, well, do this to the world, preach in the world, go to the world, have your drink, do all the things, come back to church. It's a very bad thing, and our system is degenerating into the Sodom and Gomorrah situation. I put the hard name on pastors.
As I was running indicating, the book of 1 Corinthians chapter number 6, verse 9 to 10 indicates that the lives of fornicators, the lives of drunkards, the lives of idolaters will not inherit the kingdom of God. In your perspective, we live in a society whereby these really at the apex. People do it without even knowing. People love to sin, people love to drink alcohol. The Bible makes us understand such individuals will inherit the kingdom. In your perspective, what would be your simple form of admonition to all and sundry?
I like to speak to the youth more. They are the more vibrant of the societies. The craze for money is too much. And the craze for pleasure of the world is too much. And that is the driving point for people to walk into sin. The Bible says, Matthew 16:26, what shall it profit a man if he goes against the whole world and lose his own soul? You know, that admonition I'll give to them. What shall it profit a man if he gains the whole world and lose his own soul? Let's get back to the basics. Love Jesus, know God, obey the word, obey your parents. I want to believe that Ebony has gone to heaven.
Okay.
I don't wish her to go to hell. But I want us to learn a lesson that people should give their life to Christ. The Bible says that what shall it profit? Hebrews 9:27 is appointed unto man once to die after this judgment. Judgment await all of us, including myself. Let's give our lives to Christ. That's the situation. You can die. I saw another video where she had gone to the family.
Yes, that was before the accident.
And she was happy. But I don't know whether she knew that in the next 5 to 7 to 10 hours she was no more. That can happen to everybody. I pray she's there, but if she's not, you know, it's painful. But I want to admonish everybody. Give his life to Christ.
We thank you. We thank you.
Thank you.
It's such an insightful message, and I believe those of you watching from home and even in your offices, don't give your life to Satan, because the world has nothing to offer you. What we all need is to be steadfast in the Lord and eschew practices that do not conform to the norms of the society and the Bible for that matter. You heard it from the Apostle General, God's major apostle. He's no other than Apostle Walter S. Manti, who has raised a lot of men of God for God's ministry. I know you've inspired. Tell a friend to tell another friend that this is what the man said. We should avoid sin and focus on God. That's the only way our life will be prosperous. Thanks so much for watching this. We'll come to him again as he brings us more insightful messages that will go a long way to quicken your imagination from sin, for you to focus only on Jesus Christ. For now, we say
you bless me, my life make better. Oh.